Hello. Welcome to tonight's live. I'm excited to jump on here today and just jump into an incredible topic that I've been wanting to talk about for some time, but I've been preparing for this moment. So I hope that you guys are as excited as I am. So I am broadcasting on my Facebook page as well as my YouTube channel. For those of you that don't know this, but I actually have a YouTube channel that I've had for a while that I have housed a lot of my video trainings and resources that I provide. So just FYI, for those of you that are looking for additional resources, videos, trainings that I've done in the past, I have a lot of my videos housed there. I am sharing this page. If any of you are welcome to share this broadcast, for those of you that know someone or you personally have struggled with depression and anxiety, I'm going to be focusing on mental health tonight. And so for those of you that didn't know that, that's what we're going to be talking about tonight. I'm going to be focusing on managing your mental health during crises and how important this is during this time, especially because I don't know about y'all, but I know my symptoms have worsened. And so and I want to apologize. I got all dolled up from head up, but I was not having it on getting the bottom down dressed up tonight. So you guys are getting my my very casual side and my very preppy side tonight. um, but I don't apologize for that because this is how I'm feeling. I wanted to doll up my face, but not the rest of my body. Come on and say hi. I will be interacting with you guys tonight. I hope that you guys come with questions. I hope to be able to answer a lot of those questions, maybe ease a lot of the stressors that you may be currently going through, and hopefully provide you some support and also hope during such a time that's unprecedented, and we're just learning how to navigate all this right now. So I wanted to be able to jump in and talk about my personal story, and I actually wanted to tonight. I'm sharing a piece of my story that I don't think I've shared very much of, and so and I thought it would be fun to share it for those of you that have been following me for a while. You know a lot of my other stories, and so I figured, you know what, let me share one of those secret ones that I haven't really shared much of, and it has to do with my military background and how I got started with the military, and it's going to tie back into how I'm going to talk about mental health in a little bit. But before I do that, I want to mention, guys, that tonight I will be giving you guys 3 tips, 3 lessons that I've learned on how to manage my mental health during this time, and how you can kind of adapt that to yourself. I always believe that whatever tips and tricks and tactics I always share, they may not all apply to you, but take what does and run with it, because I believe that when we are open enough, our heart is open enough to receive. And sometimes I believe, I prayed before jumping on here live, and I said, God, please bring those who need to hear this message tonight to this live, so that those that are hurting, those that are feeling alone, those that are feeling frustrated can hear this message that I come to give you guys tonight. And so I wanted to jump off our live tonight with sharing a little bit of my story on how I got started in the military, because I know not many people know how that happened, and it's kind of funny, and it's kind of sad, and it's also related to my mental health. So I want to entertain you guys a little bit of my 17-year-old mind, of where I was at 17 years old, and how the heck did I even sign up and enlist into the military. So back in 2003, so this was 2003, just a couple years shy, after 9/11, and I had no desire at the time, at least. I as I remember, sophomore year of high school, I was in sophomore in 2001 when 9/11 happened, and I after 9/11 happened, I had no desire of joining the military. Obviously, during this time, this is such a epic time and so much was unknown, almost like kind of what we're going through right now, right? And I never considered myself like, oh my gosh, I'm going to list when I'm old enough, right? Like I didn't have that in my mind. But come junior year of high school, there was a lot of things going on. I was at a place where I felt like I wasn't fitting in. There's a long story of my high school years, and there was bullying. There was, I was just in the wrong crowd. I was trying to do things that to get me to fit in with the crowds, things that I shouldn't have done, things that, I regretted doing, things that put me in very dangerous situations. And so I was making really risky behaviors during the time in 2003. And so I was at this place mentally where I was like, man, I just want to get out of here. I want to escape all of this. Like I felt so lost. And so I was trying to figure out a way to get out of my little hometown. And for those of you who are watching, I don't know where you guys are watching from. I'm a 978 in Lawrence, Massachusetts. So I grew up in Lawrence, Massachusetts. And in my mind, I had two choices. Either one, I was going to run away. Literally, I was going to run away from my family and I don't know, create a life somewhere else. I had no idea what I was thinking about. Or two, let me join the military and it'll get me out of here and I can escape this life that I'm not happy in. And so, as you know, I picked the second. Yep. And one afternoon when I was feeling super down, and so here's the thing, man. I'm gonna have to be real because I'm like beating it around the bush right now. So here's the reality that in my life right at that time, I was 17 years old. And and this is hard to share because I'm a Christian woman. I grew up in the church. I grew up with very high standards, but at 17 years old, I was involved in drinking. I was involved in very risky behavior. I didn't really love myself, and so I got into some really nasty relationships. Some bad relationships. I remember, like, oh gosh, like I look back thinking like, ugh, what was I thinking? And so like just really bad. I was in a really bad place. And I was either gonna be in a really nasty car accident driving drunk, or I was gonna get caught and end up in jail. Like that's where my life was at the time. My poor dad, my poor parents, who were so good to me. I literally feel like I was the worst child. Like my dad caught me one night and he caught me. I got home late one night and I was drunk and I was trying to play it off. And the whole room was moving. I was just like, I can't even talk right now. I don't remember anything he said. I just remember like the floor moving. He was yelling at me and pointing at me. And all I was thinking, I was like, oh my gosh, I need to just get to bed. And 17-year-old, like, sorry to say this, Dad, Mom, please, I hope you're not watching. But I had been driving that night. I was the driver. And so this was my life at that time, junior in high school. Super reckless, not using my prefrontal lobe. We know that teenagers' prefrontal lobe is not totally developed, and so we don't think and we don't think logically, and we make stupid decisions. So here I am, super lost, super confused, not feeling enough, feeling like I don't fit in. Where do I go? Like I wanted to escape. So my mind at a 17-year-old, like I want to escape. I want to get out of here. I jump on Google and I start Googling Army. And I said, I started, I don't even remember what I Googled. Like I just put in Army recruiter. And let me tell you, freaking military is on point because within a few hours, I got a phone call. Maybe within an hour, actually. I'm going to be real with you. Like the recruiter got me on the phone in 1 hour. It's time of me Googling recruiter Army in the local area. So I get on the phone call and of course, I'm this teenager girl, super desperate. I'll do anything to get out of here. And of course, they hooked me because I had a reason to get out of this town. I had a really big reason. And so this guy, hooked me in within 3 days. 3 days. Dude shows up in my doorstep, and in full uniform, and my parents open the door. My mom opens the door, and she's like, "What is going on? Why is this recruiter in our house?" And I look at her. I'm like, "Hey, Ma, guess what? I want to join the military." And so she's like, "What is going on? Like, you never told me you were interested." I was like, "Yeah, this is kind of what I want to do." And what's crazy is, God has his ways of things. And they never really fought me on this. Like, the recruiter came in kind of to share what the opportunity was. My parents were there, they listened, and he asked me, do you want to join? I said, yes, absolutely. Does this mean I can get out of the state and move somewhere else? And he's like, yes, you'll be gone for 3 months. And so this was April of 2003. And I was like, yes, I want to get out of here this summer. And not realizing, oh my gosh, what I'm getting myself into. And so I say yes to the recruiter. My parents, they need to sign a paper saying that they're going to give me permission because I'm under 18 years old. And they finally signed the papers, and they signed my life away. And in my mind, I'm like, yes, freedom. I'm out of here. I'm getting out of this crap hole, and I'm going to change my life. And oh my gosh, how wrong I was. Big lesson I learned, that when we try to escape our problems, it follows us. The problems we currently have will remain with us unless we physically and mentally change. But I didn't know this, 17-year-old mind, right? I go off to boot camp, and that's my start of my military career. So for those of you that didn't know how I started, why I started, no, it was not patriotic. I wanted to pay school. So that's kind of like the main other reason why I joined, was I needed a way to pay for college. I had no scholarships, no other scholarships. I wasn't the smartest cookie around. Just FYI, it took me 7 years to finish college. So, I was like, I'm not going to get approved for any other scholarships. So this is my way out. This is like my way of going to college, paying for college, and get out of the town I was living in, because I felt like I was drowning. I was drowning. And I didn't realize. And let me tell you guys, this is the crazy part of mental health, is that many, many people are walking around with symptoms of depression, of anxiety, of bipolar disorder, all these other, manic, and those tend to be a little bit more visible, but sometimes not. It can be more mild. There's so many people walking around as, those are just normal behaviors of teenagers. Oh, those are normal behaviors of a mom with a baby. Oh, that's normal. That's normal. And I hear that all the time. Like, oh, that's normal. It's just because you have a very stressful life. It's okay. And so they kind of push away the symptoms of mental health as it's just part of the everyday life. It's the stresses in your life. It's okay. Right. And that is partially correct. But, I didn't realize, I had all these symptoms of depression and anxiety from a very young age. I shared a long time ago, I attempted suicide when I was 13 years old. So I've been dealing with mental health almost, for a good chunk of my life. But I never called it that. I never really, I admitted to it. And so as I get into adulthood, my mental health has kind of evolved. And I saw its ugly face when it hit me in postpartum, and it came back into my life really hard. And I've shared that story a million times, and I'm going to share it again. But what I have learned from my personal mental health journey is that, and these are the 3 lessons I want to give you guys tonight, because in moments of crises, I was in a moment of crises in my teenage year. A lot of times we downsize the life of teenagers, but we're going through teenagers go through a lot of things, hormone-wise, changes, friends, social status, school. There's so many things going on, right? All around us. Our environment is very high stress. Whether we believe it or not, like even before quarantine, like teenagers' lives are very stressful. So if we were to consider that during this time, this COVID-19 quarantine, it mimics almost like us being placed in a very high stress environment, even though we're quarantined and we're kind of in a safe place in most cases. Not everybody, I know not everybody's situations are different, but we're placed in this very high stress environment. And so the way we cope is different. Everybody copes differently with stress. But here's the thing is that we've had different coping mechanisms. Some of us go shopping. Hey guys, sorry, all the stores are closed. You can't go shopping anymore, or unless except for online, which is not the same for addicts with shopping addict addictions. Oh, sorry guys, you can't really hang out in your social environments in the club so that you don't have to think about your problems. So that's closed. So that coping mechanism is gone. Going to the gym with your friends and being in that group environment. Oh, sorry, that's going to be taken away from you too. Or in my case, like, oh, guess what? All your speaking engagements and all those group trainings and all those environments where you felt like you were in a part of a community, even though you're doing that virtually, it's kind of gone. And so all these coping mechanisms that we use to deal with our stressors are kind of gone. And so as you notice, you're going to notice these feelings that you've been suppressing over the years, maybe for a lifetime, or maybe you have been dealing with them, but now you're noticing they're getting worse because your coping mechanisms that you've been utilizing in the past are kind of gone. And so now you're sitting back like, what do I do? How do I manage now? Like, now I actually have to feel my feelings. Now I have to actually be in my thoughts. Now I have to actually, think through this. Now, how am I going to overcome this? So I wanted to share how like this has kind of evolved for me in the last few weeks, just to give you guys a grounding as to how this can present itself. That it's not the same for everybody, but for me, I'm going to share my symptoms. Maybe that can make you realize, oh shoot, maybe I am feeling depressed. Maybe I am feeling anxious. For me, in this scenario, my anxiety has gone down because I don't have the other stresses that were around me in my life, but my depression went up. So a lot of my things that I noticed with my depression is, one, I reminisce on the smallest things, and I can't let go of something negative that may have happened during the day. And I can just ruminate. And then all of a sudden it gets out of control and I start going to this dark place. I am worthless. I'm not enough. Nobody loves me. Nobody wants to be with me. And I start to like get into this dark place. And sometimes it can only last for a few hours. Other times it can last days. And then when it's in that day, format, like it's days of ruminating this dark place in my mind, that's when things start to really shift in a negative way. I become less productive. I don't want to get out of my couch. I don't feel like cleaning. I don't feel like doing anything. I don't feel like taking care of my kids. And then I feel guilty because I'm like, oh my gosh, the dishes are all over my sink is full. I'm not working on my job. I'm not doing this. I'm not doing that. And so all these things around me are just kind of closing in. And that's how I feel like when things are kind of closing in on you and you're like, man, I have no way to get out of this. And then the worst case scenario, like you feel like your life is over. How many of you can relate to any of those symptoms? The ruminating, the going to dark places mentally, to feeling like you're alone, to feeling like you're not loved, feeling like you're not worthy, you're not enough, you're not, you're not loved. Have any of you felt that in the last 5 to 6 weeks? And be honest. I want you to be honest. and share with me, because here's the thing I want you, the number one lesson I want you to learn tonight about managing your mental health during crises is you gotta be self-aware. If you're not self-aware of these symptoms, they can continue and they can start to spiral out of control. Yes, totally, Jolanda. You're not alone. They can spiral out of control. And so if we're not hyper aware of these symptoms, we can't stop them. And so they get worse and worse and worse. And so thankfully for me, I'm super hyper aware. I can notice when I am in that dark place, and it stinks though, because when I'm in that dark place, like it's really hard for me to get out of it. Even myself, who's built resiliency, who's built really strong coping mechanisms, it's really hard for me to get out of it. And so I have to do things, and I'll share a couple things that you can do to get out of that. But the second thing that I've noticed, so you have to be hyper aware. You got to be self-aware of yourself. You got to be aware of when you go into those dark places and take note of it. Journal it. What happened before then? Was there something that somebody said to you? Was there something you read? Was there something, did you sleep enough? There's different things, right? For me, it's lack of sleep, working night shifts, then having to take care of the kids and not being able to sleep during the day because now I have no break. The kids are home all day. And so they're not in school, they're not in daycare, so I don't get a break. So that has been like a catapult for me. That's like the gasoline into, me feeling those feelings. It can be different for you. The second thing that I want to mention for when it comes to managing your mental health, like once you're aware of it, speak up. Speak up. You've got to share it. You've got to ask for help. So in the last year here, I've shared this already, but I want you guys to be aware. As I share my story, I do so because I want to encourage you to not suffer alone and to seek professional help when you're going through this. Even if you've never seen a therapist before, even if you've never been diagnosed with depression or anxiety, if you're feeling those feelings of being in a dark place, of being sad, of crying all the time, then I encourage you to Senator, not right now, buddy. I encourage you to seek help and speak up. So if you can't do that with your family, if you can't do that with friends, seek the professional support. And talk to your doctor and ask for a referral and there's so many resources now, especially now for people that are going through this. So don't be afraid to do that. The last thing I want to mention is you got to build up resilience. And so for me, it's been a blessing that, for me in the last few years, and I'm going to be honest with you guys that in the last few years, I think I would be in a worse place if I never started to work on my personal health and wellness. I think, I always mention this, like the worst case scenario, but I truly believe like if I hadn't changed my lifestyle, I probably would have been in a worse situation. And let me tell you guys something, that depression and anxiety, bipolar disorders, run in both of my family sides, my father's side and my mother's side, like uncles, aunts, cousins, like it's very prevalent in my family. But I was in denial. I was like, I don't got that. I'm the good gene. I got the good genes. I thought I was all good, right? and I believed like, well, I'm taking care of myself. I'm doing all the things, right? But why am I still crying all the time? Why am I always so emotional? Why do I go to my dark place all the time? And I'm thinking in my head like, oh, it's just the environment. It's just the environment. It's what's going on in the world. But it's not always that. Sometimes it's biologically, the chemical imbalances going on. And it took me so long, even me as a health consultant, health coach, it took me so long to accept the fact that I needed a little bit more help. And so I come out with my story because I truly believe we need to let go of the stigma around mental health, that mental health is only seen in people that are in mental hospitals, that are sick all the time, that don't work very well. Like, I consider myself a very successful person. I finished nursing school. I commissioned as an Army officer. I've done all these things. And so you would think in your head, like, okay, somebody who's successful and who's done all these things, they can't suffer with depression. They should be appreciative of what they have. They're blessed, you know? And then people guilt you into feeling like you're in the wrong for feeling these things. Like, you shouldn't feel depressed. You have so many things. But depression is not about the things you have. It's about the biology and physiology of your body. And so it's okay as a professional woman, as a mother, as a trainer, as a coach, I realized, like, wow, it's okay. It's okay to accept that you need additional help. And so, Puppy, you have to go tell Puppy. Go tell Puppy.
I want someone to fix my bed.
Okay, tell Puppy. So it's okay. And so for me, understanding that I had a weakness, for me, my big aha moment was in 2014 when I had my postpartum depression. That was my aha moment. And that's when I realized, oh my gosh, my lifestyle has everything to do on how I feel inside. And so I started to shift my lifestyle. I started to take care of myself, right? But here's what I do want to say with that, right? Because doctors, when you go to the doctors, and as a nurse, I know this because I've worked with patients as well in this population. Here's what they always recommend: change your eating, work out first, right? Change your lifestyle, get some sleep, work out, eat healthy, get some sleep, work out, eat healthy, get some sleep. That's the first thing that any mental health specialist, behavioral health specialist is going to tell somebody with mental health issues, right? But here's me. I've done all those things. And so I've been able to cope very well and live a normal life because I am so physically active. But that doesn't mean I am completely healed. And here's where I want to make sure that we understand mental health, because mental health is real. It is related to a biological chemical imbalance in your brain. And so if I have not been able to manage all those things holistically, which I have been doing everything holistically, nutrition, exercise, sleep has been the only thing that has been off for the last 2 years, which as I improve that, my depression will improve as well. But that being said, biologically, because I have genetically reasons to believe that I have, genes that have been brought down to me from my family, I am more likely to suffer with, depression long term. And so it's okay if you need medications to be on medications, to be supervised on medications, to make sure you get adjusted correctly, that you are on the right stuff that you need to do. So, I know one of the biggest problems in mental health is compliance with your medications, like following what the doctor orders. And I understand that there's so many side effects. And here's the reality, guys, is I am myself now getting into the medication realm. And for me, that's super scary, because I've always avoided it as taboo. It's wrong. Like, it's only for the really mentally sick. It's only for those that can't manage. I want to let go of that stigma. And you know why I had to let go of that stigma? Because I was going through it. And that's sad to say that. Like, you don't understand something truly until you physically are going through it yourself. And so I have like that additional empathy and understanding now, even more so than before, of truly suffering with such a debilitating disease that so many people push off as it's just in your head. Let go of it. Why can't you just find joy? Just listen to music. Go walk, right? And even then, if those things are still not working, realize that you're not broken. You just need an adjustment in medications. Maybe you need to get on something differently. But again, I wanted to make sure I included that piece because I want those people that may be going through this time to not feel ashamed to ask for that additional help. But here's what I will say though: if you aren't moving your body, if you aren't sleeping well, if you are not eating healthy, you have to do those things too. Medications is not the fix all. And that's why I don't believe in just medications. I believe in a lifestyle change. I've never, as a medical professional, have never believed that medications is the fix all for any condition: blood pressure, cholesterol, diabetes. What else? There's so many diseases out there. All the GI, gastrointestinal diseases and issues with that. All those diseases, if you combine the medications with lifestyle change, which every single medical professional will tell you, it makes a greater impact. But unfortunately, we live in a immediate gratification society who wants things right now. Give it to me now. Results. And so unfortunately, we rely too much on medications. And so my message is, don't just rely on medications, especially if you're depressed and anxious. It requires a lifestyle change. And so if you're not changing your lifestyle, don't expect your medications to be the fix all, because it's not. It works best when you combine it with healthy eating, with moving your body, with meditation, with other natural holistic approaches. And I wanted to share this quote with you guys, or at least something that I personally wanted to write down. I said, keep moving. Because here's the thing, that in stagnant water, bacteria grows. Think about this for a second. When water is stagnant, bacteria grows. When water is moving, minimal bacteria grows. Think about your body. That when our bodies and our minds are stagnant, that's where the virus, the disease grows. Hence why we biologically, our body needs to move. When it is stagnant, that is when it grows. Hence why in this quarantine, mental health has worsened, because people are not moving as much as they should or were before, right? Now we're stuck home. Technically, we're not. We can go outside depending on where you live, but we're stuck home. So we have minimal space. We have minimal movement. We're stuck watching Netflix for hours upon hours, and I've been guilty of that. and hence why I've also felt like not myself, because I am a very active person. I'm always driving here, going there, going to this appointment, going to these meetings, doing this webinars, doing this workshops. So my body is not as active. I've been more stagnant, and hence why I've been feeling those feelings of rumination. Rumination to me is like bacteria growing. And if you're not moving, if you're not building momentum, you're going to get into that dark place much easier. So that's why we have to move our body, why we have to be in motion. And it's not just physically, guys. It's progress in our goals. Many people are feeling stagnant right now in their goals, in their businesses, in their jobs. They're furloughed, so now they're not making money. So they're stagnant. They're feeling stuck. Hence the duplication, the multiplication of depression and anxiety, right? So how do we shift that? And so that's why it's so important that we're, one, moving our body, eating healthier, two, that we're still working on our goals or have developed some type of future goals to work towards. As a matter of fact, tomorrow at 1 p.m., I'm doing a webinar on how to plan your comeback, how to stabilize yourself during moments of crises. So I'm going to dig a little bit deeper into this topic tomorrow with actual strategies to help people. So if you're interested in that, I'll drop the link in the comments in a little bit for you to it's a free webinar that I'm doing at 1 p.m. tomorrow. And I'll be digging a little bit deeper as to goals and why it's important to have something to look forward to. You know, a lot of people have stopped planning. They stop planning vacations. They stop planning future events. They stop planning different stuff. And that's like the worst thing you can do. Life it continues on. Life keeps moving, whether you do or not. So why shouldn't we continue planning? Why shouldn't we keep moving forward? So I encourage you to put on your somewhere your goals for the next 3 to 6 months. Put something that you're working towards, and it doesn't have to be big, but at least have something that you're achieving, small little goals, because those wins also help you build momentum, make you feel good inside, make you feel like you're enough, right? When we're not producing, right? When we're not multiplying, we're not being fruitful, of course we're going to feel stagnant. Of course we're going to feel depressed and anxious because we're not fruitful. We're not multiplying. And as human beings, our nature is our desires, our ultimate desires is to multiply and duplicate and to be fruitful. And when we're not doing those things, it's like a storm for depression and anxiety. I don't care how successful you are, but if you stop moving in any sense of the word, physically, mentally, spiritually, you are gonna be prone to depression and anxiety. I'm putting it out there. I don't care who you are, you're gonna be prone to it. So whether you have history of mental health or not, so you gotta keep moving. So that's my biggest thing is, and that's why even more than ever, I am staying grounded to my routines and habits. If I don't have them, I would not be as grounded as I am right now. Yes, I have been more symptomatic. Yes, there have been days with more tears and more days of getting to that dark place, but they don't last as long because I have these habits and routines that have allowed me to get out of my head. Because if I don't have them, I can't get out of my head. This morning I went for a run and it felt amazing. Was I as physically fit as before? No, I couldn't do the full 3-mile run, but I did about 2.5. I'm proud of that. Actually, no, I think I only jogged 2 miles and then walked a mile. But it's something, and it got my body moving, and hence why I felt better. So, we can't just sit back and just wait for things to happen for us. This time right now is so tempting. It's so tempting for us to pause. And we think everything is paused, but it's not. You are not paused. You are still alive. You're still breathing. Hopefully you still have your health. I know some people are sick, but even if you're sick, you still have your health. You still have your body. You still have your legs. You have your arms. You have your mind. Oh my gosh, what a gift. What an opportunity we have. What an opportunity we have to be fruitful and multiply right now with the gifts and talents you currently have. And so if you're not utilizing them, of course you're going to be sad. Of course you're not going to feel good in your skin. And I notice when I'm not being fruitful, hence when I'm procrastinating, I'm on Netflix or on Facebook or on TikTok, which has been my new guilty pleasure. I don't know if anybody else has been on TikTok, but oh my gosh, that thing is addicting. But those things, it makes you stagnant. You're not producing, you're not creating yourself. You're consuming, and consuming to me is being stagnant. When you're a consumer, you're just there consuming. But creators are moving. They're constantly doing things, and they're building something, whether it's in their home, something small, whether it's something outside, whether it's a purpose, a mission. They're building something. And for me, I'm building something, and I'm doing things to move me forward. And so that keeps me going. That has helped me build resiliency over time. So I encourage you to do the same. So tonight I wanted to share something. Let me see if I can share the screen with you guys. So I have a challenge for y'all, because I believe that if we're not willing to shift things in our biology and physiology in our bodies, right? I like I mentioned before, if you're in need of medications, make sure you're on medications. Otherwise, if you are already and you're still feeling symptomatic, you're feeling like it's not enough, or maybe you're not on medications, but you don't want to get on it yet, you got to do those 3 things. Every single doctor is going to recommend it. The problem is with our medical professionals. Sorry, I'm judging my doctors right now. If any doctors are watching, I apologize. But it's true. Our Western medicine, what they do is, here's what you got to do. They don't give you a plan. They're just like, here, go do it. And you're like, where do I start? How do I do this? Right? And so unfortunately, our doctors are so busy. They're so overwhelmed with literally treating diseases. They're not in so much in the prevention world. They're not working with prevention. Rarely do they work with prevention. There's like very limited amount of doctors that actually work with prevention. So hence why we have health coaches, health consultants, because we, on the other hand, once your doctor tells you, hey, Nat, you gotta get active, you gotta work out, you gotta eat healthier, you gotta sleep better, right? Especially for mental health, right? And I'm like, okay, what do I do? Where do I go? Oh, shoot, Natalie's a health consultant, health coach. She actually gives plans and structure and strategies for you to work on your health and have something to follow. Hello, right? This is why health consultants, health coaches exist, because doctors don't have the time to sit there with you and plan out the next 30 days, next 60, 90 days of what to do, what exercises to do, how should I eat, how many portions should I eat, where am I going to get the support? They're not going to be checking up on you every single week. They don't got time for that. You barely have 5 minutes in the doctor's office. So don't be disappointed that the doctors can't spend the time that they need with you. They have bigger pictures to focus on, the diseases that they're treating, right? But here we are, professional health coaches and consultants who can help you with the plans and resources and accountability to get you where you need to get to. That's why tonight I wanted to provide you those resources to help you manage your mental health in a sustainable way that focuses on your health and wellness. And I wanted to do that in a 90-day challenge. So some of you have noticed I've been promoting my Get Fit with Natalie 90-day challenge. And I wanted to share what that's going to entail, because I know so many people have been asking me, Nat, what is this thing that you're talking about? Because I'm kind of interested, but I don't know what that's going to entail. And I know there's so many people out there, personal trainers that are giving different plans out there, or maybe there's people doing Zumba through Zoom calls and video chats and things like that. And that's pretty cool. But I'm a person who, I love structure. I like to have like a game plan from day 1 to day 60, 90 days. And so for me, because I like structure and routine, I give that to my clients. I give them the play-by-play book, literally, of the resources I've used so that they can use it too. So tonight, I wanted to provide those resources for you. So I want to share my screen real quick, because I wanted to be able to give you a glimpse into what this 90-day challenge is going to entail, so that those of you that may be interested can get a part of this. So my Get Fit with Natalie 90-day challenge is all about getting your 2020 comeback. Want to create your 2020 comeback, right? So my 90-day fit challenge is going to include a 20 to 40 minute daily workouts. It's like your Netflix of workouts. I know some people have like Pinterest, YouTube, and they're like all over the place. But here you get everything in one place. For me, that makes a huge difference. Saves me time and money. You get your nutritional plans and supplements worth over $200. You're not paying that though. A private online community with a private app that we're using starting next week. That's brand new. It's going to help you keep track and accountability. Accountability for me is number 1 for me. And it's going to keep you engaged, and it's fun. You're going to get daily journal to track your progress, whether it's nutritionally, your physical health, whether you're trying to lose weight or not. You get online virtual cookbooks, recipes, all in one place. Now, like you're not fetching for this stuff. Oh, let me go to Pinterest. Let me go to YouTube. Let me go to this Instagram page. Like, no, it's all in one place for you. You get, and if you in the next, for the next 48 hours, for those of that sign up in the next 48 hours, we'll get one-on-one coaching, getting started right, 30-minute video call with me. And all this is normally over $300. But I'm going to give it to you for $180 for everything that I just mentioned. And you actually get to register right here. And I put the link right there for you. I'm gonna copy and paste that. As a matter of fact, let me do that right now. I'm gonna copy and paste this and put it in the comment section so that you can copy and paste it yourself if you're interested. And I'll share that right now, so you'll see it there in the comments. Okay, so this is where you're going to be able to access the Get Fit Challenge. So let me show you what that's going to look like. So to register for it, let me share my screen again. So to register for this, all it's going to do, that link that you just saw is going to get you to this page, and it's going to put your email address, first name, last name, and it's going to get you to register for the challenge. Once I get that confirmation, then I can reach out to you and we can talk about specific goals you have. And again, all this ties back to your mental health management. We can't manage our health if we're not moving our bodies. And as a medical professional, as a living person going through mental health myself, a person who is doing the medication, who has done the physical health piece, all these pieces have to be put in place in order for us to truly manage our health holistically. We cannot expect medications to fix it all. And so if we're not matching that with our lifestyle, we're not going to be able to see the shift. And yes, it is hard to do it in quarantine. Yes, it is hard to get motivated while you're home and you're not able to go to the gym and you're not able to do those things, right? That you were able to, those coping mechanisms that you had before. But here's what I'm going to challenge you to do is that this is where you're going to build resiliency. We are so accustomed to run away from our problems, to avoid our problems. So we fill our time with things and events and conferences and meetings and sports events for our kids. And over, we fill our lives with these things to kind of just bring down the feelings that we're trying to avoid. This is the time it may be arising, and I want you to feel it. I want you to actually feel the feelings you're feeling and stop avoiding them. They're there for a reason. They're there for you to treat it, to treat the actual cause, not to just put a Band-Aid on it with all these different things in your life that will consume you so that you don't have to face your reality. This is why, I feel like, man, this is an opportunity. I know so many people are complaining about how hard this quarantine is. And I can complain too, guys. It's been really hard on me, physically, mentally. But I've also seen the opportunity that it's creating in my life, allowing me to really feel the feelings that I've been avoiding feeling for years that are arising. And it's okay. And we don't have to feel guilty about feeling bad, about feeling like we're in a dark place, of crying. Like, we have to let those feelings out. It's okay to cry. But it's also important that we understand how to get up, that we know how to treat the problem, the cause. And to me, because I believe it's physiologically, it's biological, there is some environmental aspects of it, yes, but a lot of it, I truly believe like 80% of it is biological. It's physiological. And guess what? We do have control of that. And so if we're willing to do the work, I promise you, we're going to get out of this and we're going to bring our comeback. We're coming back from this whole quarantine thing, and we're coming back stronger than ever. I know personally that people that go through challenges are the most resilient of the population. And so think of this time as the time of your training of resiliency. I would not be as strong as I have become. I would not have as strong of coping mechanisms as I do if I hadn't gone through all those challenges I had to go through as a teenager, joining the military, going through boot camp, going through trainings, being told I was fat, being told I was not enough, failing out of nursing school, having taken me 7 years to finish. If I hadn't gone through all those challenges, I would not be as resilient as I am today. So you got to understand the challenges you're currently going through are a gift if you choose to look at it that way. And if you're willing to do the work to continue building that resiliency. Hence why I've developed the 90-Day Fit Challenge. This is not just about losing weight. This is not just about giving you a diet plan, giving you something that's a quick fix, giving you some patches and pills and teas. No, this is about a lifestyle change. And that's why I'm passionate about what I do and why I believe that I'm not like any other coaches out there. I'm not like any other health and wellness gurus out there. I believe that we have the whole body we need to treat, not just one piece of it. And we can only do that if we're willing to do the work ourselves. Like, we need to show up and be willing to go through the pain. We need to be willing to go through the transformation. And if we do that, we get the results we're looking for. So if you want to register for this challenge, you got 48 hours where I'm going to be able to give you the discount that we currently have, which is from $300 to $180. $180 for everything that I just mentioned, the support group, the accountability, the nutritional, everything in one place. This is my big thing for me. Like, I hate searching everywhere for different stuff. Like, I hate having to go to Pinterest, YouTube, IG for all these different resources. I want to have a library for everything just in one place where I can just search Google, or not search, use it as a Google, but it's all in one place for me. That's what this is. All in one place. Not having to do a million things at once. Not having to show up at a Zoom call during the 3 days a week at a certain time because your schedule is so crazy with your kids. This is so much flexibility here for you. And that's what I want to provide for you guys, especially during quarantine. Is what we need right now is flexibility. We need resources. We need structure. We need habits and routines that are going to help us mentally and physically. And so that's what I want to provide you tonight. So if you're willing to join me in this challenge, if you're willing to ride it out with me as we both heal from our mental health, then I hope that you trust me and believe in me that we can walk through this stronger than we came into it, this quarantine. We will come out of this stronger than we came into it if you're willing to go through the process with me. So let's do this together. And if you are willing to do it, I can't wait to chat in the next couple of days, talk about your goals, talk about where you're going from here, and build on your resilience and develop it and grow it, because that's what this is all about. Managing your mental health during crises is about building resiliency. And that, if there's no one else in the world, like, I truly believe my gifts and talents were given to me to walk you through this process with my mental health history, with my military history, with my nursing history, with my personal postpartum depression and anxiety. All these pieces were given to me for a reason. I had to go through the ditch myself with these specific problems so that I can walk you through them as well. So I challenge you tonight to stop questioning yourself. Stop asking, am I worthy enough for this? Stop asking yourself if, am I enough? Do I deserve this? Oh my gosh, absolutely. You absolutely deserve to take care of yourself. Because guess what? Nobody else in the world is going to do it for you. My husband's not going to do it for me. My kids are not going to do it for me. My parents are not going to do it for me. I had to choose for myself. And so to 2014, that's what I did. And that's why I'm here today, 6 years later, more resilient than ever. Not perfect, because I'm still going through my dark moments, but a lot better than I would have been if I had never said yes in 2014 to an opportunity like this. So I hope that you're going to join me. On Monday, the 27th, we kick off our 90-day Get Fit with Natalie challenge. And if you're willing to join me, guys, this is going to be an amazing ride. I can't wait to see your transformation. Thank you guys for joining me tonight. I hope that you guys are as excited about this challenge as I am. If you want more information, again, I just put the link in the comments. That's where you can register for the challenge. I will reach out to you to determine what plan is best for you, because each plan is personalized to your goals, and you'll get the resources specific to you. And I'll make sure that you'll get the discount that I just provided you guys tonight. So I can't wait to have you join me in the next couple of days. And if you're not, that's totally cool. I hope that at least you got to take something away from this webinar tonight that you can apply to your personal life, or at least tag somebody or share this with somebody who could use the resources. Maybe you have your own coping mechanisms that have been working excellent for you, but maybe there's somebody in your life that you believe this can bless their life. Maybe you can gift it to somebody you know. Either way, I'm here to serve you guys, to help you get through this time and managing your mental health through this crisis. And let me share, because I did say I was going to share the link. Let me see if I can find it. Shoot, I should have had it. So what I'm going to do after the live, I'll share the link to my 1 p.m. webinar tomorrow, where I'm going to be actually talking about how to find stability during a crisis, and also planning out your comeback for after the quarantine. So if you guys want to join me for my webinar tomorrow, that's also free at 1 o'clock. I'll be sharing the link in the comments after I get off the live, because I thought I shared it, saved it, but I didn't. So I hope you guys have an amazing night. Thank you guys so much for joining me for an hour tonight. I didn't realize I was going to be on here for an hour. I appreciate you guys so much. Thank you for allowing me to be part of your life for this very little moment. And hopefully you guys can continue joining me every single Wednesday at 8 p.m. as I walk you through in getting through this quarantine and figuring out how to not only manage it, but to thrive through it. Hope you guys have an amazing night, and I'll see you guys soon.